so glad that you are here with me. It is our very first Cats in Conversation, Meowtivation Monday. And I don't know if you just heard Johnny Storm, but he is ready for this. I am KJ, your kitty correspondent. And this is, if you've joined us in the cat club before, it's kind of like coffee and cats, but we are having cocktails instead and hanging out with the cats. And I am going to bring my very special guest in tonight. I can't think of a better person to kick off this new phase of the KJ Today Show and having time to just really have conversations with you, talk about cats, talk about our lives, and talk about how we can bring more positive vibes to all of that. So please welcome to the show my very good friend Tiffany Rice. Hi,
hello. How are you?
I am just so excited that we are doing this. You are, I will tell everyone, you are one of my biggest cheerleaders. You're a person who says, go do it, and to be doing this and be doing it with you tonight is just so special. So thank you for being here.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm trying to get a good angle for you guys. I'm always so bad at like,
I appreciate that. I do want to point out that I have one cat here with me for our Cats and Conversations, and I'm about to bribe the other ones with treats.
Oh.
I was hoping because this is Grayson's spot, and he usually is up here at this point in the night. So I was like, oh, I'm going to set up. And here comes Johnny Storm. You want?
Oh, here they come.
I promised everybody cats tonight. And if at some point we want more cats, we'll have Patches log in so he can kind of do roaming cam and show you guys the cats. So he's in the kitchen right now and doing a little what's cooking with Patches because eat dinner here. And we're, I thought, what a great time to, kick this off and be having different conversations in the future about cats with different experts and, being able to really kind of answer your questions. But it's October and people, have spooky season on the brain, and being able to talk with you, Tiffany, about how spooky season isn't and doesn't have to be spooky, including visits from our pets, is just such a lovely conversation. So can you start off? I know that a lot of people watching tonight and checking in watched us together on Paranormal Crossroad for 2 seasons, but for those who might be new and have questions about the spirit world and how this works with pets, can you give them a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes. So I am Tiffany Rice. I'm a spirit medium. You guys probably know me as Spirit Tiff on Instagram and TikTok. I have been a spirit medium, which is someone who communicates with people that have past loved ones, friends, family, pets come through too. And I have been doing this full time for a little over 10 years. I started out by just reading friends and reading like their friends. Then also I got to the point where I was doing so many readings, I had to quit my full-time job and make the transition to become a spirit medium full-time. And the cool thing about that is that I have been doing this now for over 10 years and I absolutely love it. Just came out with a book about 365 messages from your loved ones in spirit. And it's a daily journal and it helps you get through grief. So even if it's for the dogs, for your loved ones in spirit, for the cats, grief is grief and it affects everybody so differently. And, it's funny you brought up this season is all about spooky vibes, but we are able to connect with our loved ones in spirit any day of the week, any time of the season, any time of the day. And, the thing is too, is that when people just think, because I get questions, KJ, you've been there when people are like, do animals come through in spirit? And I go, yes, we're all energy. Anybody that is energy, we are all connected to a certain degree. All right. So we are going to consistently be connected through that infinite love. So I love it when people come to me for missing animals, missing pets, or, they just lost their dog, just lost their cat. I've had horses come through. I've had guinea pigs come through. I've had so many different animals come through because at the end of the day, like I just mentioned, we are all energy. So if we can just think in those terms that energy, we all have souls, we all have energy. So energy is neither destroyed nor created. So it continues to move just in a different frequency. The body that we have, or the body that your pets have, will expire at some time. That's why we have to take care of it. We have to eat the right things. We have to exercise it. We have to do the mental work. We have to do the therapy work, the mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit. We have to make sure we exercise all aspects of our true authentic self. So when our body expires, our soul, our energy, because again, we are made up of little molecules of energy, we go into the universe. And I like to say, some of us believe in heaven. I was raised to believe in heaven. And then I also feel like we're also in a different dimension. So whether it is heaven to you or a different dimension to someone else, we continue on. We're just in a different realm.
So
I feel like that was a long-winded answer. I'm sorry. I feel like that was really long-winded.
But that's what people want to know, right? And and knowing that is the case for our pets is so important, because they don't last as long as us, right? And I always say that the one downside about having pets is that the day is going to come that we have to give them that graceful goodbye. And sometimes you don't get that. I want to make sure everybody that's watching knows, if you have questions, to feel free to put those in the comments, because we want this to be a conversation, as with everything with the KJ Today show. If you have a question, you want to know how this works, please ask. We're not necessarily doing readings, but certainly just, getting this wonderful insight from Tiffany, who has this gift to be able to connect with the other side and help us with our grief, and to be just totally authentically me as I am. I hope I don't cry tonight, but you're talking about grief, and a lot of people watching know that we went from 7 cats to 5 cats really quickly, and it was such a it was so interesting, because with Jaina, she had kidney disease. She came to us as a senior. We didn't know if we were giving her 3 more good days or 3 more years, right? And luckily we got to those 3 years, but they moved so fast, and it was like, it's not enough. But we had a fire, and our vet came here, and all the cats were around, and it was just this, like, as beautiful as it could be, it still being sad, right? And hello to Sam and Leanne and everybody that's checking in. You fast forward almost exactly 4 weeks, and Rhodey was our black cat. He was just supposed to be going to finish his dental work. He had 3 more teeth that needed to come out, and he didn't even make it to surgery. Like, he left his body before they could even do anything. Like, it wasn't supposed to happen like that. And it was traumatizing. I mean, it was the fact that I can talk about this now is I've made it really, really far in my grief, because I wasn't able to do that. But, to go from, like, okay, I always want to give my pets this beautiful goodbye that we got to give Jaina, to calling Patrick and being like, don't go to work, go to the vet. I think Rhodey died. Like, it was so hard to process. And I hear from people all the time. I mean, they love the cute cat stories that we do and the fun stuff that we do. But I think that there is just something about pet grief in particular that isn't as talked about, isn't as understood. And we need to have those conversations and make people realize, like, when you are feeling that loss, that it is real and it is valid, but that there are also ways for you to still know that you are connected to that pet, and that they have been a part of your life before and after their body, that they are just connected to you. So, please feel free tonight to ask those questions. And if we need to get raw and real, Tiffany, I'm so proud of you for putting out your book. Your journal is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It's like so needed, that message of we are never truly alone.
I should actually, I have a copy. Hold on. I'm going to go grab it.
Right, yes, yes. Grab a
why do
copy.
I have it in front of me? Well, it
Yes,
is.
yes, it is. Tiffany's book is on Amazon, just like my book, Raised by Cats, Behind the Mic and the Meows, which I can't believe is coming up on a year of being out. I am working on a series of additional Raised by Cats.
I love that.
Well, they're going to be, and honestly, they're going to be probably shorter stories just to kind of continue. Like the first book was everything from the beginning, and now it continues on. And your book, I've been waiting for this. Look at that. 365 messages from your loved ones in spirit, a daily journal. And it's just really to help you every single day, like be able to have a safe space to process what's happening.
Right. It gives you a, this actually, why don't I turn the page? What type? Okay. So the process of this book, when I say 365 messages from your loved ones in spirit, I actually channeled spirit as I wrote down the messages. So this is good to go through for if you're going through a tough time with grief. It doesn't have to be your first year of grief. It could be your second, third, fourth, whatever it is. Okay. Oh, thank you, Leanne. Thanks for, I just saw it. She goes, I bought the 365. So
Yay!
Why don't I channel in and see what messages we need as the group? And maybe it's meant for you, KJ, for your baby.
Yay! I love this. Yay!
So what does KJ need to know for our highest and greatest good? I'm sending you so much love today. Expect the unexpected.
No. Do you know, Tiffany, like there were so many things I was going to do before the show today, and a cat showed up at our door outside.
What? Oh my gosh.
So, you know, oh my gosh. And, you know, like I was like, what are you doing here? She looks like she belongs to someone. She actually has a calming collar on, which my hope is that somebody's missing her. We're going to reconnect her. But I was like, what are you doing here?
She showed up at the right house, though. She showed up at the right house.
She did, you know, like whatever we need to do to help her along her way. And of course, if we don't reconnect her, we'll figure out why she came here and where she's supposed to be. Mary Beth, thank you for sharing that post. Right now I'm just trying, and I call her a she feels like a she to me, but you know, it might be a he too. So if you know someone who's missing a tabby cat on the Northwest side, check out my page, because I was like, what are you doing here?
Well, where is she now? What happened?
So she was having a really good time chasing the ducks outside. You can tell that she's not a cat that's been outside before. So she was like, ooh, ducks. And then like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing here. So I called Indie Neighborhood Cats, because, you know, like I work with them, and I'm like, I got to do all the right things. And they said, you know, it's not cold outside. It's okay, because she's too timid to come to me.
Right.
Came real close. They're like, keep the food and the water out so she knows she has a safe place. Let's give it a couple of days to see if one of your neighbors, you know, are like, hey, that's my cat. And if not, they're going to come out, they'll trap, and we'll, you know, get her to a foster, whatever we need to do. But she seems pretty comfortable out there, even though I know she doesn't belong out there. So we've just been keeping an eye out. I wish, you know, like my heart's like, I want to bring her in, but, you know, I mean, we were just talking about this, you know, my cats, it's been chaos, and you talk about energy, right? And I have been in such flux, in so much trauma, and Patrick has had his own grief, which is another conversation. Like, even though this isn't the first time we've lost something, I really feel like it stood out to us, even though we have each other and we have these other cats. This grief this time feels very lonely, like, because you deal with it differently. So it's not like it's like, how can I be there for you when I can barely show up for myself? But I love you and I want to be there for you. And so it's like this whole, like, just I said I wasn't going to cry, but it is this like very weird experience to know that even though we're together and we have so much love in this house, each of us, the cats, Patrick, myself, are all experiencing this grief. It's very singular, no matter how big your support group is. And so being able to journal and do those things is just, it's so important. And I don't even know where I was going with that, but it just kind of like hit me. Like, if you're going through grief right now, it is important to have the tools and have people around you, because it is a lonely process. Of your grief is different from anybody else's grief that's ever experienced it. It's always unique. And so it feels like no one else has ever felt this before. And that's why we need each other, right? And we need to know energy is energy, and we can connect, and we can reach out and not feel so lonely.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And there's so many different levels of grief. There's the grief of, first you go through the sadness, you go through shock, you go through anger, like these cats should be here. Like, what happened? Why wasn't I there when they gave them the anesthesia? What happened? Like, if I was there, I would have done something. We go through the woulda, shoulda, couldas. We go through almost like the fantasy of like, no, they're here. Like, when I get home, they're going to be here, and then we're just stuck with the emptiness of realizing that they aren't physically here. So what do we do in this situation? We find a different way to still experience them. And by experiencing them, it's about being able to learn to loving them in a different way. And they may not be here physically, but they're still going to be with us every single moment. Again, time is infinite. So we're the humans that are stuck on, we got the 24 hours in the day, or we're going to go to Florida to go on vacation and they won't be here because physically, like, we're the ones that put that structure together because that's all we know. So of course we're going to do that. But if we just think outside the box and expand our minds to really see that this is something that is so beautiful. When you realize that love is infinite, when you realize that, one of the most important things when I bring through the animals, they know, they experience unconditional love. Humans, a whole other aspect. But these babies, our fur babies, know how to love unconditionally. That's all they know. And in most cases, and I know you've dealt with this, KJ, but they will hold on and stay on, no matter if they are missing legs, if they are sick and they can't eat, they will hold on until their body finally just says, nope, I'm good. Or, one of the things that I do want to talk about with pets is sometimes being pet owners, having them be part of our family, we sometimes have to make a tough decision. And that tough decision usually ends up with us feeling guilt and keeping that guilt within our bodies, within our systems, and just thinking like, well, the last day he was eating, like that happened to me. I had a Boston Terrier, Lily and Marie. She was my soul dog. And it's funny when animals live with you, you don't realize them getting older sometimes,
Yes, that's the hard part.
That's the hard part. So I brought Lily in for her senior wellness checkup, and I'm like, oh, I can't even believe I'm bringing her in for a senior wellness checkup. This is crazy, right? She was 12 years old, Boston Terrier, and I brought her in, and when I took her out of the house, that's when I realized just how skinny she was. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that she was in the condition she was in. And so I'm like, oh, she has a little cough. And I'm going to tell you guys, cat, dog, I'm sure other animals, if your animal starts with a cough and they tell you it's allergies, make sure you really have them do testing. Okay. Because prior to that, I brought my dog in and they told her, oh, it's allergies. Give her some of this. Give her some of that, give her some of this. And so I did. And she was like on allergy medicine. And then she just continued with the cough. And it turned out when I brought her in for a senior wellness, we ended up doing some ultrasounds and she had cancer. Oh. And so it went from me being like, no, she's fine. I don't even know if I should keep the senior wellness. And she's had this consistent cough for like 6 months now. But I'm like, she's old. That's what happens, And
Yeah.
I was looking at a dog, my soul dog, at 12 years old, having cancer. And so, of course, the tears roll in, and I'm like, "What? Okay, here's my wallet. Here's my life savings, whatever it is.
Yep.
Let's do it." And it was really, really difficult. We brought her into a specialist, and you know how expensive they are. Like, I brought her in,
Oh,
and
yes.
like, you just have to pay everything up front. And the first bill was about $3,000. And I was fortunate that I had that. But again, I was fortunate at that time that I had that. So I
Yeah.
did pay the 3,000, but I got the answer, and the answer was, you know, she's doing okay, but she's too frail for us to operate on her.
Yeah.
So we
Oh.
can take and make her comfortable and see what we can do, but it would be too traumatizing for her body to operate on her and try to remove the cancer. So I remember the dates. So she turned 12 March 24th, the day after my birthday. Her
Oh.
vet appointment was May 10th. And by May 30th, she passed in my arms. And the
Oh.
way that she passed was, I brought her home. It was Memorial Day weekend. I brought her home. And I remember the Friday night, I laid on the floor with her, and I thought, like, and I was looking up on my phone. I'm like, I got to figure out what to do if she passes. Like, what do I do with a dog if she passes in the middle of the night? So I was like Googling it and doing the research. Saturday morning, she woke up. She jumped up, went outside, was exploring. She got a second wind, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, I feel so good right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so,
Yeah.
so, so happy. And I have video of her like exploring. And then Sunday, it was just her and I noticed that she was staring off into the distance. I don't know if you ever experienced that, or anybody watching, have
Yes.
you guys ever experienced, like, there's just something not there, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what she was doing. And I was like, Lily, let's take pictures. Cause me, I'm a selfie queen, especially with my animals.
Mhm.
So I was trying to take selfies with her, and like, even the selfie, she wasn't looking, but she always would look, like,
You're right.
Lily Beans never looks, my dog now, but Lily Marie always did. And so she jumped
Oh.
off the couch, and she went to go out at night. And when she got out, she collapsed. And
Oh.
I just said, I'm like, what are you doing? And like, I totally went into like avoidant mode of like, nope, this isn't
Mhm.
it. And
Yeah.
so I picked her up, and she passed in my arms.
Oh
And
gosh. Oh.
it was so bad, but she did teach me unconditional love. And she was there. She was that animal that was there for a marriage, through divorce, like, we've
Yeah.
all had our ups and downs. And I find that I am so blessed to be able to experience that and have my heart open just a little bit more with her. And so
Yeah.
she's always with me. And I think you guys that are watching, that you guys have animals, like, our animals show us signs. So many times people have felt their animals jump up on the bed with them after they passed.
Mhm.
They actually
I
feel
just, I
emotion.
just had a friend this morning. I'm not gonna say his name just in case, but he messaged me and said, I I swear she was on the bed this morning. Like, I felt
Yes.
her. And I'm like, yes, yes, like that's
Yes.
and I mean, what a like, don't question that. That
Right.
of course, that I mean, how else are they going to get through to us if we're gonna brush it off and be like, oh, I probably was just imagining that.
Right.
No, they're
Right.
trying, they're
Right.
doing the things that are gonna make you go, and no matter how many pets you have, the way that they jump on the bed, like, you don't have to look to see
Yes.
what it is. You know who they are. So when you
Yep.
have that, it's like, yes, that's your cat, that's your dog, that's them still wanting to cuddle with you at night. And that it's interesting. It takes us right into I did ask for some questions tonight. And I do believe that one of them, if you don't mind, Tiffany, I love that everybody, because I was like, we can talk about cat health too, or why is my cat,
Right.
but they all had questions that were more for you. And here's one about dreams. Cassie wanted to know, she said, when I dream about my cat Lacey from my childhood, is she visiting me?
Absolutely. I love this because just like our loved ones in spirit, our animals will show up in dreams. And so if I was to say, oh, Cassie, well, what was the dream about? You'd probably be able to tell me like it's the back of your hand. But if I said, well, what did you dream about last night? You would probably look at me and be like, I don't know. I don't remember. So that's how you can tell the difference between dream and visits. The visits, you're going to remember just like that. And they love coming through in our dreams. They love, like, sometimes you might even think you're going crazy because you might hear their collar jingle down the hallway and you're like, what is that? But that's what happens all the time. Like you may smell them. You may notice that they, you can hear them. I've even seen like pictures. People have said, look at this picture. Like this is a shadow of my dog. After we put her down a week later, the doorbell rang and we saw her shadow go right to the door, so I've seen it in real time. And I've actually experienced, like when I'm at the Conjuring House, if you guys know the Conjuring House, it's one of the most haunted locations in America. But when I'm at the Conjuring House, they actually have a ghost cat. And I saw the ghost cat. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen a ghost cat before. But I saw the ghost cat and I was so happy. So pets do come back. They do come through. And when people get readings with me about their animals, they will share the same type of information as if I'm talking to a human. And how I get it, it's almost like they show me pictures and I get the feeling. And so I just describe that. It's not like they're all of a sudden like, oh, hi, Mom, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Like sometimes I'll get, like there's this one reading I did and I said, I'm like, it's so funny because your dog is a golden retriever. I see a golden retriever, but she's just in the kitchen looking up and I see this statue. It just looks like a statue. I don't know if it's like a Mother Mary statue. I don't know, but I see the statue and the person I was reading started laughing and she goes, no, she goes, that's a statue of Athena. That's her name is Athena. And so they got the statue because it was Athena. And so that was her way of showing me what her name was.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
We have a cat who I swear, and we've had enough pets in our lives that we've got a menagerie over on the other side, right? So sometimes when we feel stuff, it's like, which one is coming through? And it's always interesting because we usually feel the same thing. Like it's that validation of, oh, that's definitely Riley. But our cat, Omar, who was the first cat that Patrick and I got together, and he loved the Christmas tree. And it took us a lot of work to get him to like not climb and sit on the top of the Christmas tree. And so we did eventually get him to understand you can like lay under the tree, you don't go up the tree. But I swear to you, after he passed, and still to this day, I mean, it's been 8-9 years since he's passed.
Wow.
Maybe longer. Yeah. When we put our Christmas tree up, the cats all watch the top of the tree and they see something running around. And I'm like, Omar is in the Christmas tree. He's like,
yes, he is.
Right? He's like, now that I don't have a body, you can't tell me I can't be in the Christmas tree. And
oh my gosh, I love it.
Every single year, on a regular basis, when the tree is up, we know that Omar is visiting and he's sitting on top of the Christmas tree.
I love that. And you know what? Just like our loved ones in spirit, sometimes we might experience more activity during certain holidays or certain anniversaries, special dates, things of that nature. So, or especially just when you need them. When you need them, ask for them. And that's such a beautiful story, KJ, because it really is. It's about staying connected. So even though they're not here physically, they're still here, and they're going to show us the signs. They will show us the signs. We just have to believe that we're going to get the signs. I'm reading people's comments, and Kira says, we were just saying that sometimes you hear my dog's breathing. She was a big huffing dog. Yes. A lot of times, or like sneezing, breathing,
Mhm.
anything like that. Even the way they walk. I have 3 dogs and they all walk differently. And I know which one's walking and
Yes.
which one isn't,
Yeah.
So like they all are unique in so many ways. And Mary Beth, when you say that you feel like your Jack comes to bed still, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just, so believe in that magic and believe in that feeling. And they do that stuff to let you know that, they want to send you that comfort. And KJ, I feel like your cats brought that little cat that was lost to your house because they were the guardian angels helping that cat find its way home.
Ah, well, good. Well, that's what, I mean, that's what we hope for, right? I mean, we've got ducks and chipmunks and bunnies, and it's like that backyard. We try to make it. We try to extend our energy out into our yard so that
Yeah,
animals that come here know that we are a safe place. So, uh,
exactly.
I saw that Mary Beth had a question. She said, I have had 2 cats pass at other places I have lived. Do they move with me or are their spirits left behind?
They move with you. They move with you because I get that too. Some people are like, we don't want to, and this happens with humans a lot too. We don't want to sell our property because my mom passed here, or we don't want to sell our property because we buried my childhood dog here. All valid reasons because we are stuck with that physical aspect of them. But when we realize that we can connect with them anytime we want, because our thoughts manifest and they hear us. So when we think of them, that's how they pick up on where we're at. When you get a reading, they will bring up like, oh, I saw you at Disney World, or, oh, we saw you book a trip to Italy. Like they will show you all of these things just as a form of validation that they are here with us, no matter where we are. Again, we are the humans that are stuck in this physical form on this one particular dimension. So it's almost kind of like we're hamsters on a hamster wheel, like same old
Yes.
thing, just running. This is how it is, right? But like blast your mind for a minute and realize without this physical body, we still have connection. We still have connection.
Yes, and that is, I mean, that is so it's so human of us to like think about that in the physical sense. And I felt that too. I remember when we left our first house to move here, having this moment when we were leaving, it was like, but Reggie won't be in that house. Reggie was my first cat that, I found in 8th grade, and he moved all over the place with me, and the broken engagement and the getting
Right.
fired from my first radio job to coming here. And it was like this, but then it was like, no, he did it. This house isn't where he is. He's here. Like
Yes.
that heart connection. That's
Yes.
where Reggie is, right? And
Yes.
so even even when all of those things, you still have to sometimes remind yourself you're having a human experience. And
Yeah.
so like remember that it's the human experience, but we are energy, and that our loved ones can come to us no matter where we are.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've got another question that came in from Sarah. She said, do cats know how to cross over? I am worried about my 17-year-old cat who's in kidney failure. Well, first of all, Sarah, I'm sorry you're going through that. That's near and dear to our hearts. It's touched us too. Cats' kidneys just don't keep up with the longevity that we've given them. They just don't. And so it's like your cats, if you're fortunate enough, your cats live long enough that their kidneys start to go. It is unfortunate, but it's a thing that happens. So that's an interesting question, Tiffany. For her with her 17-year-old cat, and many of us easing that fear of what is going to happen to my cat. Do they understand death and crossing over and the other side?
Absolutely. That's what I find. And I bet you, I wouldn't be surprised that animals have a much easier time than humans. So animals are so much more intelligent. Let's just put it out there because
Yes.
they already speak energy. That's what they do. They don't have a language. It's energy to them. So they're just moving in a different dimension, just not in their body, but they still feel the same. So I feel like they automatically know. Whereas humans, we're like, oh, wait, what's going on? We don't have an ego anymore. What's happening with us? You know, like we go through all these different we're just complicated. But animals are like, oh, we've been with your cat. Your cat's been living 17 years of its life just connecting to you through energy, knowing when you're sad, knowing when you're happy, you know, knowing when there's a storm coming, you know, like they are so in tuned.
Yes.
So when they move on and they transition to another dimension, they automatically know how to.
Well, and something that I just recently learned and was actually really interesting because my friend Cindy Huff, who is the animal communicator that is a good friend of ours, and we work with, and she's so amazing. I had a conversation with her probably about maybe about a month and a half after Rhodey passed, because I was really worried about Amelia having Rhodey was, you know, Grayson and Rhodey are her big brothers, right? And that she was trying to comfort herself by spending more time with Grayson, and it was overwhelming Grayson. And I'm like, gosh, I'm just so sad for her. So, you know, I wanted to have the conversation to see if she in body right now understands what happened to Rhodey. And when we connected, you know, Cindy was like, they're all very worried. They're, you know, they're saying he's gone. And so she was like, you know, and you know, sometimes Tiffany, because you do this, and I've learned from you that when our loved ones pass over, sometimes we don't feel them right away. Right. And so it was interesting because Cindy had to kind of do some work to connect it to a cat that she couldn't reach, and eventually reached it. She was like, this is so interesting. We have these, it's like these spokespeople, these guides are coming through, and they said, Rhodey, they're not the cat, which they validated the cats aren't feeling him. He can't come yet. It was all they explained to us. It's like a reverse hospice. Like he had gone through such a traumatic crossing that he was actually kind of coming out of it. And it was just so interesting. Like we're sitting there just learning from these, you know, people on the other side who showed up to tell us he's okay. But what like helped me in my heart was that they said, because he was so scared when you adopted him, he wasn't the adoptable cat, you know, he was scared. He was never, they said, you're never going to get him. Like he brought some trauma through because you let him be who he was. He realized when he crossed over that he could release that baggage he was hanging on to and work through it. So you're not going to feel him as much or as quickly until he works through it. But he's brave enough and strong enough to work through it because he had this life with you. And I was like,
oh my God. I know, you're like, what? I just thought he was fine.
Right? Like I thought he was fine. But you know, for the cats, they were like, reassuring them, like they were like, he's not here, like you know, we know they're supposed to still be with us. It was amazing. And like we're always still learning things and doing what you do. And really, I encourage people, have an animal communicator, have a friend that can connect in spirit like Tiffany, because it does help you in those times where you feel blocked. It's, you know, it's just so important to be able to open up your energy. And when you are struggling to do that yourself, to be able to have trusted resources who can help you understand what is happening. And that is what Tiffany is. And that's why I've got her website up, tiffanyrice.com. Again, she can bring your pets through. She can bring your loved ones through. And it's just a beautiful way to validate things that you think maybe you're experiencing, or get that connection if your energy isn't allowing it to come through.
Right. Exactly.
Leanne wants to know, do you think there are imprints left for our timeline, but when we pass, do they follow? That's an interesting question. As in, like, we leave an energetic mark, Leanne?
Or like, I just think of Twilight, the books, and how
Mhm.
people just imprint, right? I said this before, I wish that when we're born, our animals are imprinted for the journey, the entire journey. Like, oh,
Mhm.
Tiffany, okay, and now you will have 3 dogs. Thank you. And then my whole life, I have these same 3 dogs, and they're just
Mhm.
part of my pack, and everything's good. There's no one leaves before they should. But when it's like my time to go, we all go together. We all cuddle.
Oh gosh,
In
I
a
would love
perfect
that.
world. In a perfect
Right?
world. Right?
Tammy, so glad you're here with us tonight. She says Tiffany has definitely been a
Hi,
blessing
Tammy.
for
Tammy
you.
made
We
me
love
a
you,
beautiful
Tammy.
shirt of me and Stanley Beans. Absolutely
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh.
Thank you. Yes.
Aw. Um,
Yes.
Wanted to share Ed's comment. He says, I don't know if this is right or not, but I have told the cats that we lost over the years that they have several laps of loved ones they can go to until I can be with them. I
I
think
love
that's
that.
number one, Ed. I don't think any of us have it right. Like it's what feels right to you. But also I think that it is very beautiful and important to share that with our animals when they are getting older, to communicate with them. They don't need to stay in their body for you, right? Like it's really important that we say stay the number of days that you want to stay, is what I say to them. Right? Stay the number of days that feels good to you. Don't stay for me. I'll be okay. But
Oh,
when you cross, know that there's going to be other cats and other loved ones. Like when you connect energetically with your cats, are they sitting there getting every word? No, but they can visualize what you're saying. They can internalize what you're saying, and that is going to help them. Because sometimes we get to have the beautiful passing where we say, you know what? It's going to be on Wednesday. The vet's going to come to the house. We're all going to be together. And sometimes we don't get that.
yeah.
So being able to have that communication with your pets ahead of time, am I right? I don't know, but to me, it's like another gift we can give them. And if they don't understand it, I didn't know that they didn't understand it. So,
Mhm.
what can it hurt? Oh, we got a little kitty cam there. Amelia's been sitting here, but she is just listening
Aw.
and paying attention. And Johnny Storm is here.
I know. I'm surprised we don't even hear Olive snoring. I don't know where she, because usually with my dogs, you always hear Olive snoring. Stanley's in
Yeah.
the sunroom. Oh,
Oh.
look at that baby.
Let's see. And Leanne said, just to clarify, I didn't know if when we die, does our circle remain or after a while goes poof. Now, I think Leanne, energy, like I said, it goes back to certainly our energy leaves a mark. There's a reason that we're here, all of us, right? Whether we become someone who is famous and changes the world, or someone who is not famous and changes the world for one other person or pet while we're here, we made a difference. So absolutely, I think all of our energy together is what's going to lift the world. And I don't
Right.
mean to get like super, you know.
Hey, that's what I was just like, guys, let's talk different dimensions and energy. Right
Right?
off the bat, I'm like, oh, should I have like
No, totally. I'm here for it. If people have questions or we're like talking about things that you're like, I do not understand what you're talking about,
right?
please let us know, because there was a time where I didn't either, and also shut a lot of that out because I was raised that, that stuff doesn't happen. Right.
Yeah.
Like there aren't ghosts, and no, we don't communicate. And it was a different kind of upbringing. And so, when I was seeing a little kid that was clearly not in body, I sure didn't run and tell my parents about that.
Right.
So yeah. And let's see. Leanne says, I totally want to haunt. I think, Leanne, that if you want to come back and play little games with your loved ones, I think that they would welcome that.
Right? Why not?
Oh, so Tiffany, as people go through, we're talking about spooky season, as people go through this, holiday season where there's a lot of stuff that people are talking about, bad energy, bad spirits, things like that. What do you recommend as far as what's real, what's not, in your opinion, and what can we do to protect ourselves if there is an energy or an entity that maybe we don't feel so safe with around us?
Well, you always have control over your own personal energy. So always keep that in mind, guys. So many times people will say, well, I feel like I'm a natural empath, so I pick up on everybody's energy. So imagine a beautiful white light around you before you get into work. Or maybe you're going to go to that family event and your Aunt Ellen is just going to be a chatty Cathy and you're going to feel drained after. Surround yourself with white light. Call on your loved ones in spirit, including your fur babies in spirit. Also, call on Archangel Michael. He is the protector of all angels. And sometimes I do that just so I feel good. Like, it makes me feel good. But that's a way to protect your energy. If you're into crystals, it's great to carry around some black tourmaline, smoky quartz. Those are always good. You can get little tumbles or handheld crystals. My friend Christina at the Serendipity Place, you can go shop on her store online and she ships everywhere. So,
nice.
Yes, the serendipityplace.com, and just look up black tourmaline, and they're pretty cost effective. It's not some crystals that are like super expensive, and then there's some that are like, okay, not too bad.
Oh, and you know what else I have? Speaking of, I'll have to ship you some. I have got my holiday calm.
Ooh.
And it's got I put obsidian in it, which is another great protection.
Yes, obsidian is really good. I have an obsidian sphere that I got last Halloween.
Yeah, so it's got I've got there's 8 different crystals in here, and then some of the essences and oils, and it smells like Christmas.
I love it.
I have actually used it all year round. It does have some frankincense in it, one because frankincense is such a great oil for amplifying everything else around it.
Yes.
And then also, because the 3 wise men and frankincense, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So I actually just put this in my store at stormsandmelodies.com because I was like, that, with Halloween coming up, we're all starting to get into that holiday time. And sometimes we have those family gatherings and we're like, oh, like this is going to suck the life out of me because this uncle or this person always seems to do this. It's really just a wonderful, like, Christmas smelling protection spray.
I love it.
Help you get through the holidays. So I made it a little earlier this year, and it's just the one batch. So if you guys want it, it's already up at stormsandmelodies.com. So thank you for reminding me, because I'm terrible at promoting myself. And
you should promote yourself.
I know. But I love making these, and I'm not trying to ever have these in, department stores around the world. I just make them for people I care about. I really do. Why are you laughing, Patches? Nothing. Okay. Nothing. All right. I bet Patches. So, you guys are my friends. If this can help you, keep your energy clean and keep yourself protected. Sometimes it's just that act, of setting the intention and doing the thing and knowing that you're protected before you walk into that room. Thank you, Leanne. She said promote away. And lots of people love that. The black tourmaline. Yeah.
That's what I take to the Conjuring House. Black tourmaline, selenite. And also, guys, grab yourself a sage stick. A sage stick can be anywhere between $5 to $10. What you do is you burn it. Sage clears all energy. So when you burn it, make sure you have something underneath it to get all the droppings. But go through every area of your house, open up every drawer, open up every cabinet. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm saging. And I'm like, what's this? What's this? I'm like, no, go through every area of your house. That's what I want you to do. Go through every area of your house and really clear that energy out. And sometimes, again, most of you guys that are tuning in are probably natural empaths anyways. So you pick up on the heaviness of other people around you. Like today I woke up and I'm like, I need to sage. Today's a good day to sage. Like, I just felt it in the air. There's like a lot going on planetary wise anyway. So I'm like, let's just sage this shit and get out and keep on going. So that's what I did. I
Yes.
probably should double sage, to be honest, but absolutely. Like there's certain ways to cleanse the air, and then there's certain ways to protect yourself. And you always want to do that. And always remember, like, it's about your personal energy. So when you are in an area with energy vampires, like I'm reading what Leah's saying. I really want to sage people at work, but I don't want to set fire alarms, right? So like really set your boundaries before you get into work. Surround yourself with a white light and just say, I'm here to, this white light connects me for my highest and greatest good, and it protects me from everything that does not serve a purpose in my life.
Yes. Well, and the other thing you can do is get my calming remedies and wear a bracelet with lava rocks.
Yes.
Spray it, and it'll keep you protected from your coworker vampires.
Exactly. It's a crazy world out there, guys. So
yeah. Well, and I would love to have more conversations about some of those ways that we can work through protecting ourselves, because so many of those things also apply to pets. I know a lot of you watching, I talked about, and I am working on doing some specific meditations that will help you and your pet clear your energy together, balance your chakras together.
I love that.
I do that with my cats, but I
Mhm.
went searching on YouTube, like when I didn't know how to really do it myself, to find like guided meditations. There's just not a lot out there. So I was like, we can set that intention and share that energy so that you can do that with your pets, because they need their energy cleared. They need their chakras balanced.
Yes.
Our animals are more energetically tuned than we are, which means when they're taking on our stress and feeling what's going on in the world and the shifts, that if we aren't intentionally helping them stay clear as well, that manifests in health problems and, and behaviors and things like that. So I think this is the first of many wonderful conversations, if you will come back, Tiffany, that we can
I love it.
Continue to have. Kira said, I held my cat up to the last full moon and asked it to fill her up.
I should have done that with mine, with my dogs. I love it.
All right. Tiffany, let's talk one more time. You've got your book out, and is there a link on your website to get to Amazon to find your book?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably, but I also have my line with Dune Jewelry. So if you guys are there, it's elemental jewelry. So right here you can see the third eye chakra, but I have an angel wing and cardinal, and you can pick any element that you want. The interesting thing about that is, even if you have ashes from your dog, maybe the whiskers from your kitty, you could actually send that in, and they could put that in your piece of jewelry too. But if you guys are interested in getting a private reading, you go to my website, tiffanyrice.com. And then also, if you are on TikTok, please give me a follow. I'm Spirit Tiff on TikTok, Spirit Tiff on Instagram. My podcast is We Are Never Truly Alone, available on Apple and Spotify. I'd love for you guys to check it out. And
Yay. Yay. And I see Patches. I don't even know where he is with Malcolm right now, but Patches doing the kitty cam. So thank you guys for joining. It's been really, really fun. I do want to let you know a couple of things about the show, because we have a couple of other really cool guests this week. We've got Amy Acker from Angel, the Buffy audio series comes out, so everybody's excited for Buffy. So I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't put out my Amy Acker interview yet. And then also Jana's Can't Commit to a Book Club is also going to have Joe Arden, who is this like huge voice actor. Like if you listen to books, you know Joe Arden. So Jana's actually recording that tonight, and she's freaking out about it. I told her, I'm like, tune in, watch me and Tiffany and relax, and then you can go do your interview and you'll rock it out. So lots of fun things happening on the KJ Today show, and this is one of them. Thank you, my dear friend Tiffany, for being.
Thank you for asking me to be on your show.
Yes. All right. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, we will.